All right, let's talk about those hits that you've received from your big ideas that you put into Google. You get so many hits that you'll never look at, and most of us will look at the first page of hits. And predictably, the first hit on most sites is going to be a Wikipedia article. And we all know, we all use Wikipedia. Some of us use it and rely on it more than we should in our research papers. And we are not to use Wikipedia as a reliable source in our bibliography because it is a crowd-sourced format. And what that means is that multiple people can edit the information on the site, whether they be a scholar, an expert, or a curious student that may not know a lot of information but wants to participate in the editing process on a particular topic. And most articles are not messed with, but because it has the potential to be edited by anyone, that is the reason not to use it as a bibliographic resource. It is fine to use it to gain background knowledge and to gain an understanding of your topic, to take the references within that article and to look at the links that are associated with that article and evaluate that information against Wikipedia. You want to get the information you find in Wikipedia, and you want to document and verify it somewhere else. So that's your first hit. That is usually your first hit. Your second hit varies depending on what sort of information you have. For my example, I received a second hit from a site called tutorhistory.org. And what this site was a very informational site. If I didn't have the knowledge that I have about evaluating sites, I may take the information from this site and use it for a paper, but on closer examination, and that's what I want you folks to do, when you look at each of your individual sites, I want you to look at them and evaluate them for a few things. The first thing is to look at who wrote the information there, who's the author. And for my site, my tutorhistory.org site, when I drilled down, I found that my site was written by somebody called Lara Eakins. And she had no credentials, which means she wasn't a professor, she wasn't a scholar. She was somebody that really enjoyed history. And this is what she did for a hobby. Now, it doesn't make her information less valid or less worthwhile than somebody else's, but because, and this is just one of those general principles, but because she isn't a scholar and she hasn't got reputable credentials behind her, I would not use her site for my research paper. I would find something of higher quality by a scholar. So many people believe that .org sites are better than .com sites. And when the internet started, those were more legitimate sites, but that is no longer the case. .org sites are they're just as similar as .com, .net sites. You still have to evaluate who put the information there and when did they put the information in. Those are really important things to look at.